comment is my statement, I am a free, beautiful, independent and empowered, blessed and beloved child of God, a belief system. Is it BS? It could be. It could be, I mean, I haven't always been free, and the only thing that is free is my soul, because this body, it can be trapped, it can be caged, it can be kidnapped. Beautiful. Well, beauty is in the eye of the beer. Beauty is in the eye of the beer holder, right? Because somebody that you may not think is beautiful at the beginning of the evening of drinking, towards the end of the evening of drinking, you might say, "Well, man, they're just so pretty. They're just." It's a filter. They call it beer goggles, right? Luckily, that only happened a few times. I mean, because that's just like a possession. It's like, wait a minute, I don't think I would have made those choices. Free, beautiful, independent. I haven't always been independent. There was a time I had to suck off the tit. There was a time I had to feed off of the umbilical cord while I was inside my mother's womb. She provided everything for me. Everything that I needed, right? She probably didn't know the processes in which she provided all of these things for me, but I mean, she knew the process in which it took to get me bacon in the oven, right? I mean, and that's a benefit, right? And in her ability of being a good mother, she taught me to be independent. She's like, hey, if you're able to take your socks off, you're able to put your socks on, all right? And if you're able to make a mess, you're able to clean up a mess. And if you want to do certain things, you need to prove yourself responsible to be able to do these certain things. So I learned independence, and I'm one of the most independent people I know. I've learned how to do a lot of things for myself. Empowered. Was I always empowered? No. Sometimes there was times that I felt disempowered. I felt like life was happening to me instead of for me. I was stressful, and I struggled. And even a couple of times I contemplated just ending it, because why let this BS continue? But then you recognize that right now it might suck, but in 2 nows from now it might be the most cool experience you've ever had. How do you know? So you got to build what you want to build. Blessed. Am I blessed? I've been blessed with a lot of things. I was blessed this morning with waking up and being able to get into my car and travel to go see my daughter and my granddaughter and her fiance and celebrate something with them, right? I feel blessed. Beloved. I had an experience 13 years ago that I learned what the ultimate love feels like. I left this body basically in the emergency room, and when I left this body, I was looking down on it like I recognized it as who I was or who I thought I was, but it more resembled a worn out pair of boots that I was getting ready to leave behind. And it was the most love and connection and feeling of oneness, no judgment, no burdens, no stress that I ever felt in my life. And the only thing that brought me back to this experience, in my opinion, because I really felt like I was leaving it behind, it had nearly just bled out, right? I lost a lot of blood. I had vomited blood 3 times from a full stomach. But the only thing that, the reason I feel like I'm here today is that I felt like there was more to do, and I didn't want to leave my 12-year-old daughter behind. I wanted to be able to still teach her a few things, to be able to protect her in this world and help her grow and help her learn and grow, just experience a beautiful life, And as soon as I recognized that, I opened my eyes, and it wasn't like I floated back down in my body or went through a vortex, or it was just I opened my eyes and I was back in my body, and I was like, what in the fuck just happened to me? Because I never experienced anything like that. But it changed my life. It absolutely changed my life. I recognized the gratitude that I should be holding, and I although I didn't see a face of God, or I didn't see anything that represented a divine entity, except there was a feeling that I must be surrounded in it. And now, I have that with me whenever I bring that emotion or that thought into it. And it feels good. And it feels like love. And if I know what that feeling is, I want to give that to others. And so I do that by not judging them. I try not to should on people. I don't tell you should do this or you should do that. I say maybe it's wise to do this, or it's a good idea to experience it this way. But what you should do is up to you, right? So anyway, yes, that statement means a lot to me. And is it BS? To somebody else it might be, because if you haven't experienced it, I mean, I could talk about a lot of things that you're like, oh yeah, whatever. But if you've experienced it, you're like, oh yeah, that was freaking awesome, wasn't it? Yeah, I did that too back in whatever, And people who have a lot of experiences can share these experiences and recognize a person who's experienced it because of the energy that they hold towards it. Okay? So, experience life. Know that you're forgiven if you mess up. I've messed up, but I didn't feel judged when I was leaving this body behind. I recognize that I'm not that body. I'm not this. This is a skin suit that I've learned how to make it to where it doesn't feel like an old worn out pair of boots anymore. I mean, I was 36. I was 36 when I went in on Father's Day into the hospital, bleeding from an ulcer. It's too young. I was too young to be bleeding to death from an ulcer because you've been focused on money and things that the culture shows as being important. So now here I am at 49. It's been 13 years since I don't know if you call it an awakening, because I felt like I was kind of asleep to a lot of things in life. Do you call it a rebirth? Do you call it whatever you call it? I mean, it was, I wasn't rebirthed into naivety. I was rebirthed into a wisdom and a knowing. A knowing. I felt it. I know that death is nothing to fear. And that's the thing. People say, hey, Rob, a lot of things you do, people get shot for. I'm like, yeah, because they're trying to make money off of it, or they're trying to be deceiving, or they're trying to... They've got sin in their life. They've got things that they're doing that aren't in the forefront that are going to cause those things. But when you know what you're doing, and you know who you are, and you know what you're here to do, there's no fear. There should be no fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Do you see it and react like the idols show you? Face everything and run? Or do you just face everything and rise? That's where we grow. And that's what I believe God is. There's a lot of people who won't speak the name of God. And I don't think it's out of maliciousness. I think it's out of what they see as a respect. But I was told that we're supposed to proclaim God. We're supposed to yell it. We're supposed to shout it from the mountaintops. We're supposed to do these things. And I see these preachers doing it, but they're yelling more about how you should give them money, because God said you should give them money so they can buy another vacation home, because God protects and God provides, and I want a bigger car and a newer house and a bigger swimming pool, right? While people are homeless and suffering, they are not of God. But you know what is of God? Those who are ending suffering for people. Wow, I better slow down, because I got excited about that, and I was going 90 miles per hour, but so was everybody else. So we'll just kick it down a notch, so we'll under the radar, like the last video. A snake can be under the radar. They're camouflaged, and they can hide in their environment in what they're doing, right? And most of the time, a snake is only doing that. A real snake is only doing that to survive. But the snakes in government, the snakes that are using knowledge, using wisdom to enslave people and control people and manipulate the masses, the mass. Isn't that what goes to church too, is a mass? Mass. Anyway. Yes. So my statement stands the same. My affirmation, my daily affirmation for me is, or what my connection is, what my title is I am a free, beautiful, independent and empowered, blessed and beloved child of God. Oh, that's where I was going to go with that. God, proclaiming it, right? Before I was going 90 miles per hour down the highway, right? Nines, lots of nines. My heart rate was 27 beats a minute. 2 plus 7 is a 9. I was 36, 9, right? 3 and a 6. God, to me, because I didn't meet God, I recognize God as an essence and an energy that exists, that also exists within me and you, everyone, everything that's sentient, everything that exists, there's an essence of God within it, right? And so, to me, I've done a lot of fasting since this time, since that happened for me, and in that time, I've recognized a lot of things, that if everything is happening for us instead of to us, even if it's something less than desirable, it's still for growth, right? And so maybe that big G is for growth. And when we can recognize that we're all children of God, we're all humans or humane beings that have come into this realm to be able to experience and live life, we can learn to recognize each other as a oneness, right? It's a reflection of who we are in a different experience. You know, you give different stimulus to each organism, and it's going to come out differently. And then what's the big D? Is the big D divine? A divine way of interacting with each other and the environment in the right now moment? So, I think when Moses said, I am of God, I am that I am, I guess Moses did not say it. No, I'm not trying to tell you something that the Bible didn't say. So, I mean, there's so many different versions of it that I don't know which one to read, and there's so many people fighting about all the different versions of it that even among the people that believe the same thing, or they almost believe the same thing. But then there's people that were born geographically somewhere else on the planet, and they believe something different. So then that's why they're willing to fight with those, and really fight. And if we're blaming God for war, we're not being responsible with our free will, right? Because "Thou shalt not kill" should be a pretty strong thing. You don't want to kill yourself. You shouldn't want to kill yourself. We shouldn't be living in an environment with so much struggle where children are wanting to kill themselves. See, that's the thing, too. You get deplatformed for talking about things like that. But that act of ending your own life is sad, because you're ending that experience for you, but you're moving that burden onto everyone else that loved you and that cares about you. And so that's why I've started my ministry, is because there's people that are really struggling. And I've been in struggle, but now I'm not in struggle. I tried to survive, and now I thrive. And I don't have the Maserati or the Mercedes M-Class to tote myself around in, but I don't care about those things. And I think that if I was living as some of these other what am I? I don't know. I'm just me. But if, I'm not at the level of influence that Joel Osteen has. He has millions of dollars and a giant estate. But yet when natural disasters happened, his doors were closed. He wasn't there for the community. He was there for his own wealth and health and safety. But we need to be engaged with helping others. So you can bet that any gift to free will ministry is not going to pad a bank account until we have millions of dollars in it, and then some bookkeeper is going to be able to run away with it. We're actually solving the problems in the communities and in the land, having to do with health, happiness, peace, and abundance. And the health for the land is things that reduce fire, flood, erosion, drought, famine, for nature and for people. And this has a benefit, a side effect, that we can also eliminate homelessness. And we don't have to give everybody an apartment that has the dishwasher and the reclining chair and the closets and the shower with the massage head. Because when we provide for people all of their wants, they lose a certain level of dignity and a desire to be independent and create things for themselves. But we can provide shelter where a person feels secure, where the things that they've gathered won't be stolen when they go to work for the day. That's the thing with the like locally, there's a place called Camp Hope, but there isn't a real secure area for people to keep their things, and the staff, they are what they can afford, but they're not what they need. And you've got people who are not as healthy as they should be to help others, trying to help others. And so then that causes more conflict and friction. So there's ways to do it though. And just really quickly to give you some keywords to search if you want to learn them yourself, look up earth ships or sandbag construction or earth bag construction or tire wall construction or glass bottle construction or there's a myriad of stuff, but basically it's like earth ships. You start getting in a search on that, it's going to open up awareness of a lot of things that are options that we haven't been advertised, because we're using the waste from a community to create treasure and abundance. And instead of us needing to perpetually funnel money through poor people, funnel the tax money through poor people into corporate bank accounts for landlords, we can actually invest in the person to where they don't need an investment in them anymore. So the reason that why our budgets go up is because they're creating dependency on the system so that people will vote for a bigger system, right? And then they'll vote for more theft, more taxation, more fines, more permits, more permissions. And then we no longer live in a free market where if you know how to cut hair, that you can just come over with your scissors and clippers and cut somebody's hair. You'll have somebody calling up on the phone and saying, hey, dude, I don't think they have a permit for that, right? Yeah, you better go send an enforcer who might shoot them, right? Because people act crazy. Stress is promoting people acting nuts. I see it all the time. I'm to a point now where you really can't piss me off. I don't give my energy like that to just random people. I don't care what you have to say. If you have something constructive to say or something that I see as a benefit, I'll listen to you. But if you're just flapping your pie eaters, I don't care. I don't care. So you do you and I'll do me. And if we do it together in a way that builds humanity a little more consciously, I think that we're going to get rid of a lot of the problems that we're facing in the world today. So, if you will, please take a moment and watch this video and hit subscribe. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.